So I made a couple of mistakes on my last video. I said that Leverton, that the Saxon Charter Leverton doesn't describe Leverton, it describes Eddington. I was wrong. It does describe Leverton. The reason why I got it wrong is because one of the landmarks is in the wrong place, but that's probably a scribal error. All of the landmarks exist on the modern map apart from Charles Cot at the beginning, but we know that's on the Kennet, so we know which direction we're going in. So we can definitely place it on Leverton. We know it goes clockwise rather than anti-clockwise. Some of them do go. It's not impossible for them to go anti-clockwise, but this definitely goes clockwise because it says go up the Kennet stream, and the Anglo-Saxon knew the difference between up and downstream. Then go north up to eventually up to Lamberning Yemmeak, which means the boundary of the people of Lambourne, and then go est, which is east. So we know it goes clockwise around the estate. That being said, these boundaries don't describe the entire estate. They describe the boundary so that you can tell others, so everybody understands that this belongs to you, the point at which things belong to you and the point at which things belong to other people, the boundary, the limits of things, and they're less interested about what goes on in the middle, which we're interested in. Those of us who are interested in the past are interested in the lot. So there are some quite obviously Old English words in some of the place names that we can't see in a charter, but we can see in other documents. So we have a place called Hayward Farm, Heywode. The ward part is a corruption, so it's two elements, hay and wood. The ward part is a corruption of wood, so we can see that the oldest naming of it in a document was Heywode. So wode is wudu in Old English, woode in the accusative case. And this is, so we have something, Heywode. The hay part is more interesting though. You will see fairly often, and it doesn't mean mown grass. What it means is basically hedge, but it's more complicated than that. When somebody in the Middle Ages heard the word hay, they wouldn't have just thought of a privet hedge. It would have been a hawthorn hedge. Actually, the word haw comes from hay as well. But anyway, so it's your classic hedging plant. But anyway, they would have thought of an enclosure. So it would have been an enclosed area. Sometimes it would have been wooded, and sometimes it would have had deer in. So we also have the word haw, which is ha, which is where we get the modern word haw from, which is a deer enclosure with a boundary ditch and things that people fall into quite often, hilariously. But it's not always a deer estate with wood. It can be unwooded and with domestic animals as well. But we often see it in cities and towns, and so in Bristol we have pit hay, which you will see going into town shopping. You will see the street sign for pit hay. That hay part again is nothing to do with mown grass. It's to do with an enclosed space, a hedged-in space, and that probably would have been the town residence of a landlord out in the country. So even in the Anglo-Saxon period, there were plots of land in cities and towns that were extensions of estates out in the country. So it became, hay became also a synonym for basically the back garden of a townhouse. So when you do next go past a street sign that has hay in it, don't think of mown grass. I'm heading down into Hidden Vale, and that's a compound of Hythe and Dean. So now the English Place Name Society, they argue that Hythe is Hythe, which might be familiar to Londoners as Hythe, you know, Rotherhithe, and his landing place. So we're going to need to go back home and have a look up Hythe, whether or not the word hidden existed in Old English times.